You think you are the same person you were yesterday, but you're not. It feels true, doesn't it? There's a sense of continuity, a quiet assumption that the you reading this right now is the same you who woke up this morning, the same you from years ago, but that feeling, as convincing as it is, might be one of the most persistent illusions you've ever believed. Because if you look closely, something strange begins to happen. Your thoughts are different, your emotions shift, your perspectives evolve without asking for permission. The person you were even a year ago would not react the same way to this moment. So what exactly stayed the same? Here's the paradox. You feel like a single, stable person moving through time, but everything about you is constantly changing, not slowly, not occasionally, but continuously. And yet, despite all that change, you still feel like you. So the question becomes unavoidable: if nothing about you stays the same, then what is it that feels so consistent? And more importantly, is that feeling telling you the truth, or is it hiding something deeper you've never questioned before? What makes this even more unsettling is that the one place you trust most to define who you are, your brain, is not fixed either. It's not a storage device preserving a stable version of you. It's a living system constantly rewiring itself, reshaping connections, updating patterns in ways you don't even notice. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity, but the implication is far more personal than the word suggests. It means the physical structure that supports your thoughts, your habits, even your personality, is changing all the time. And your memories, the very things you rely on to tell yourself who you've been, are not recordings, they're reconstructions. Every time you remember something, you're not pulling out a perfect file from the past, you're rebuilding it in the present, influenced by who you are now. That childhood memory you feel so certain about isn't the past preserved. It's the past rewritten through your current mind. So when you say, "That's who I was," what you're really holding on to is a version of the past shaped by the present, not the original, but an interpretation. This changes everything, because if your brain is constantly updating and your memories are constantly shifting, then your identity isn't something stored somewhere inside you, waiting to be accessed. It's something being actively constructed, moment by moment. You are not a fixed entity moving through time. You are a process unfolding within it, and if that process never stops changing, then what exactly are you holding on to when you say, "This is me"? And it's not just your mind that refuses to stay still. Your body, the thing that feels like the most solid proof of who you are, is changing just as relentlessly. Right now, as you sit here, cells are dying, regenerating, replacing themselves without asking for your awareness. Over time, most of the atoms that make up your body are swapped out entirely. The matter that formed you years ago is no longer here, yet somehow you still say, "This is me." It's like a river. From a distance, it looks constant, recognizable, the same river you saw yesterday, but step closer and you realize the water is never the same. Every moment, new water flows through, replacing what was there before. The shape remains, the pattern persists, but the substance is always different. That's what your body is. Not a fixed structure, but a continuous flow. So if your brain is changing, your memories are shifting, and even your physical body is made of entirely different matter over time. What exactly are you holding on to when you say you are the same person? Not the same thoughts, not the same cells, not the same atoms, and yet the feeling remains. So where is this you that never seems to change, even when everything else does? Now here's where everything begins to come together in a way that's hard to ignore. If your brain is constantly changing and your body is in flux, then the only thing left holding your identity together is the story you tell yourself about who you are. Not a fixed truth, not something stored somewhere deep inside you, but a narrative. Your mind keeps constructing to create a sense of continuity. Your brain is constantly stitching together fragments of memory, emotion, and perception into something that feels like a single, coherent life. It takes disconnected moments and arranges them into a timeline, filling in gaps, smoothing contradictions, and quietly editing anything that doesn't fit. And because this process happens, automatically, you never question it. You experience the story as reality, but that story is far less reliable than it feels. Psychologists have shown that false memories are not rare accidents. People can vividly remember events that never happened or recall real events in ways that are completely distorted. Details get added, removed, reshaped over time, and the more often you revisit a memory, the more you change it. What you think of as your past is not something preserved, it's something rewritten. Even the meaning of your experiences shifts. A painful moment from years ago might now feel insignificant, or something you once ignored might suddenly feel defining. Your brain updates the story to match who you are becoming, not who you were. So your identity isn't a stable record of your life, it's a continuously edited narrative, designed to make your experience feel consistent. And that leads to a strange realization. The you that feels so real, so continuous, is not a fixed entity at all. It's a story generator creating the illusion of a single, unbroken self. Which raises an uncomfortable question. If your identity is just a story your brain keeps rewriting, then who is the one believing it? If that question feels unsettling, what you're about to hear might take it even further. Because there are situations where this sense of being one unified person doesn't just weaken. It breaks apart completely. In split brain experiments, doctors studied patients whose brains had been surgically divided, separating the two hemispheres so they could no longer communicate. What they discovered was deeply strange. Each half of the brain began operating like its own independent system, making decisions, processing information, even responding differently to the same situation. One hand could perform an action while the other hand seemed to resist it. One side of the brain could recognize something the other side couldn't explain. It was as if two separate minds were sharing the same body, each with its own perspective, its own intentions. But here's the most unsettling part when asked to explain their behavior. The person didn't say, "I don't know." Instead, the brain automatically created a reason. Even when the action was initiated by the other hemisphere, the speaking part of the brain would invent a story to make it feel coherent. In other words, the explanation came after the action, not before it. This suggests something profound. The feeling that you are one unified self, making deliberate decisions, may not be the source of your actions. It may be the result of your brain trying to make sense of them after they happen. Unity, in this sense, is not something you are, it's something your brain constructs. So if your own mind can be divided into separate systems, each acting independently, and still produce the illusion of a single you, then what exactly is that you made of? And how much of it is real versus simply explained into existence? If your sense of self can be divided inside your own brain, then the boundary of who you are becomes even harder to define when you look outside it. Because your mind doesn't just live within your skull, it constantly reaches beyond it, using the world around you as an extension of itself. Think about how often you rely on your phone. You don't memorize numbers the way people once did. You don't store every detail of your schedule in your head. You don't even remember directions in the same way. Instead, you reach for something outside you, and it becomes part of how you think. It holds information for you, retrieves it when you need it, shapes your decisions in real time. In a very real sense, it functions as memory that exists beyond your brain. And it doesn't stop there. The way you think, the words you use, the categories you rely on to understand the world, none of those originated entirely from you. Language was given to you. Culture shaped your values. The ideas you consider your thoughts are built from patterns you absorbed from other people. Every conversation, every interaction subtly rewires how you interpret reality. Even in a simple exchange, when you talk to someone and ideas begin to flow between you, something strange happens. The thinking is no longer contained within one mind or the other. It emerges in the interaction itself, in the space between you. So where does your identity actually exist? Not just in your brain, not just in your body, but across everything you engage with, in your tools, your environment, your relationships, your culture. You are not a contained entity. You are a distributed system, constantly extending into the world and being shaped by it in return. And once you see that, the idea of a fixed, isolated self starts to feel less like a fact, and more like a convenient illusion you've always taken for granted. If you step back and look at everything together, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself, reshaping the very structure that gives rise to your thoughts. Your body is replacing its own matter, exchanging atoms with the world moment by moment. Your memories are not fixed records but living reconstructions, quietly rewritten each time you revisit them. Even the boundaries you thought defined you dissolve when you realize how deeply your mind extends into tools, environments, and other people. And yet, through all of this, you still feel like a single, continuous person. But that feeling doesn't come from something unchanging at your core. It comes from the way your system organizes itself, the way it creates coherence out of constant change, the way it tells a story that makes everything feel connected, even when nothing is truly fixed. There is no solid you sitting behind your eyes, unchanged and permanent. There never was. What exists instead is something far more dynamic, a process that is always updating, always adapting, always becoming something slightly different from what it was just moments before. Not a thing you can point to, but an activity that never stops unfolding. And maybe that sounds unsettling at first. The idea that there is no fixed identity, nothing permanent to hold on to, but look at it from another angle. If you are not fixed, then you are not trapped either. You are not limited to who you were yesterday or defined by a version of yourself that no longer fits. You are something that can evolve, reshape, and move in directions you haven't even imagined yet. The stability you feel is not a property of something unchanging. It is the result of a system that knows how to maintain continuity while transforming itself, like a flame that keeps its shape even as the fuel beneath it is constantly replaced, like that river, still recognizable, even as every drop of water flows through and moves on. So the question was never, who am I, really? The better question is, what is this process doing right now? Because that is where you exist. Not as a fixed identity moving through time, but as something that is being continuously formed by it. And when you finally see it clearly, the illusion doesn't disappear, it just becomes transparent. You still feel like yourself, you still move through the world as a single person. But now you understand what that feeling really is, not a static truth, but a beautifully constructed experience, one that allows a constantly changing system to feel whole. You were never a person moving through time, you were time shaping itself into a person.